Hi, this is Rick from Rick Loves Maria. I want to do another video today, even though we are just kind of waiting for the SLEC medical process still. Just wanted to do a video and get your opinion on something. Um, and I want to talk about some reasons why I like the Philippines after the two trips that I've taken to the Philippines. What are some of the things that I really like about it? And a lot of it comes back to the kindness of the people. And let me give you some examples. When I was over there, and when I did something stupid and put a hole in the oil pan on the car, and we were stuck with the oil. When the oil pours out of your engine on the road, on the dirt road, after you hit a rock and you put a hole in the oil pan, the oil will drain out of your engine. The check engine light will, of course, come on. You'll have no oil in the car, and you're lucky if you can get it out of the path of traffic. And you basically have to shut it off. Otherwise, you're going to ruin the engine if you travel too far without a whole lot of oil to lubricate that sucker. And so that's what I did. I pulled over. I got out of the way and shut it off, and we were stuck. And there was a few people that were curious that would come around, like, what are you doing? What's going on? But this one couple really rescued us, and I still have yet to go back and thank them and pay them back. But they were just happened to be riding that way on a scooter, and they offered to help us out. And they took the next few hours out of their day to get us oil, epoxy, and once we made the repair to the to the temporary repair to the car, they were kind enough to take us to a good, safe shelter place to stay for the night, where we could, sort of recover, eat, and get ready to catch the ferry for the next day. We'd been looking for this ferry boat all day. Got lost on Masbate. So, you hand somebody $50 and they say they'll be back in an hour with oil and epoxy. And, you just don't know if they're just pulling your leg or if they're really coming back. So these people were very kind enough to actually return with the epoxy and the motor oil. In the meantime, I had a piece of sandpaper and I found a scrap of tin, and I managed to cut a patch out of tin to fit the hole in the oil pan. Climb under the car. I'm in the dirt, basically in the mud under the car, sanding. You want to sand it down because you want the epoxy to have something to grip onto, some scratches. If it's a smooth surface, it's not good for the epoxy because it will just peel right off. So when you mix up the epoxy, it's two parts, and you mix that up and you put it on the tin. You put some up under there on the pan, and you stick this patch on there. You let that dry, then maybe you mix up some more. You try to go around it, and make sure that it's got a good seal on it. You let that dry, and then you pour the oil in the car, and you look under there, and you see it going drip, drip, drip. And okay, it's not a total 100% seal, but at least it's not pouring out. So, that might be good enough to get you until you can get to a city where they have a welder. But for a bush, what I would call a bush repair, that's about as good as it's going to get, you know. So you pour the oil in, and it doesn't all pour out. You hope the patch holds on the bottom of the pan, and then you drive and you watch the lights on the engine of the car. You watch the lights and hope that the whole entire patch doesn't just fall out from under the car. So you know, and this couple, I really owe them, you know, some gratitude and thanks for helping us out of that mess. And then we took it to the port the next morning. No, let me back up. The place where we were staying when we arrived there, we gave them some money, and we were hungry, and they went and got us dinner, some like a baked chicken dinner. Oh my gosh, did that taste good! And something cold to drink. You know, it was very accommodating for them. We had a nice room with aircon. You had to climb up stairs, and so you know, we went from being stuck in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road to having this, you know, beautiful luxury room, nice and cool with aircon, and a wonderful place to spend the night. We could look out the window and almost see the ferry. We put the drone up, and you could see the ferry boat, the port from where we were staying. So the next morning, we knew the ferry would arrive, and we could go on to the next to Cebu. As a matter of fact, went to Bogo, Cebu. So anyway, it was quite an adventure. So the next day, when we got to Bogo, Cebu, I wanted to take the car to a repair shop, and it took, I think, most of the day on the ferry boat. So when we arrived in Bogo, we had to find another resort place to spend the night, and I think you had to leave your car at the gate. So we locked it up and left it at the gate and went in, walked in, and first thing in the morning, we wanted to find a repair shop with a welder, and left the car with the gentleman that owned the shop. In the morning, he said, okay, come back at lunch and I might have it repaired by then. So it was hot, and the only place to go was the mall, walk around shopping mall, air conditioned. And so we do that and kill a few hours, you know, and eat. Come back, the car's repaired, and I'm scared. I'm nervous at how much this guy's going to charge, because I realize if you've done something like that here in the United States, the repair bill is going to probably be at least $500 to $800, you know, to weld aluminum. And to do this, he had to drop the pan completely off the car, and of course put new oil in and everything too, you know. Or maybe he recycled the oil that we had put in from the previous day. Anyway, he had to scrape off or grind off the epoxy temporary repair that I had made, and then he had to weld aluminum, which is not easy to do. If anybody knows about welding, you have to weld aluminum repair back onto that and make it look like nothing had ever happened. And he did a fabulous job. And I'm scared, and the bill comes to $80 US. Now, to folks in the Philippines, 4,000 pesos seems like a lot of money, but for me at the time, that was like $80. That's cheap for a repair of this type. So we were very thankful and paid for the repair, and on to the next adventure. But boy, I tell you, it's something else when you are stuck like that and you realize that you've just destroyed the engine. Almost destroyed the engine on the car. You could have caused a lot more damage if you'd kept going. So anyway, you know, and while we were stuck there waiting for them to return, we got the drone out and flew around a little bit, did some video, and you can see the kids following the drone in the video. I think it's one of them that's uploaded on the channel. So it was quite interesting. And the other thing I really thought was impressive about it was the attitude of Maria there when we were stuck, and she was calm, and she didn't get upset. She didn't get she didn't seem to be that worried, you know. So she was very calm, and actually she was more focused on finding me, a drink of water or something, to help me out. I was intent on trying to find a way to get out of there and go to where we needed to go. And of course, it's my fault for not asking for directions in the first place. I thought I knew exactly where we were going, but there's certain places out there where even your Google Maps will not show. You have absolutely no cell reception at all. You have no way, even with Google Maps, to tell if you're going the right way. And according to the last map that I had downloaded, I thought that was the right way. It should have been a big clue when the road went from concrete to clay, dirt, and then started having all these rocks in the middle where it looked like you needed a four-wheel drive to get in there. This little Honda Fit we were driving was way too low for those rocks that were in the center of the road. And you can only straddle so much, with the tires. You try to straddle the rocks. So a big lesson to you: if you're going to take an adventure in the Philippines and drive a car, try to get some kind of four-wheel drive or a vehicle that sits up high enough to go over some pretty rough roads, because everywhere you go in the province over there's some kind of mud, there's rocks, and I'm not talking about little gravel. I'm talking about fist-sized rocks that you may have to bounce, and drive over as you go. So, we'll keep the little Honda Fit. We got to fix the air conditioning in it at this point. I don't think we're going to be able to sell it, but at some point we are going to need a different vehicle over there. I think in a few years we're going to have to get some sort of a four-wheel drive vehicle of some type in order to go do more adventure like we're hoping to do. So anyway, the point I want to make is that the people are very friendly. If you're in the province over there and something happens and you get stuck, the people are very poor. They don't have much, but they're still willing to feed you. Most of them are still willing to feed you, look out for you, make sure that nobody is trying to take advantage of you. Even though you may not be able to understand what they're saying, I felt safe. At no point did I feel like I was in danger of being killed, hurt, robbed, or something bad happening to me. There's a lot of children around everywhere, and people were relatively calm. Nobody was getting too exciting, about this weird intruder from America coming over there and doing stupid things. I just tried to be thankful and appreciative of anything that they would help with. So you have to, if you go into it with a kind, respectful attitude, I think you'll find that people over there are really friendly in the province. And it is safe. I almost feel safer over there than I did here. Okay, so that's my experience. Let me know what you think and what your experience has been, if any of you have traveled over there. I'm interested to find out what you think. Okay, thanks. Bye.